Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. My name is Howard Pinsky, Senior XD Evangelist here at Adobe, and I hope you're all doing well on this Friday afternoon. Maybe some of you have even been watching the entire day. We started off the day with some great masterclasses, and weaving in there, we've got our Daily Creative Challenge, and Andrew and Nick just wrapped up their weekly stream as well. It's been a fun day, and I know many of you are in the chat, have been in the chat for quite some time today. We've got Sam and Aaron and Philip and Juhi and Sarah and Joshua and Elizabeth and who else do we have in here? Anit and MD. If I mispronounce anyone's name, I do apologize, but big thank you for tuning in today and every other day. All right, let's hop over to my screen and let's get this final Daily Creative Challenge of the week going. So, behance.net/challenge/XD. You're going to find all the information about our daily creative challenges. If you haven't yet, press the big blue register button at the top. Go ahead and press that button so you're notified when new challenges are released. Every single day, Monday to Friday, you will receive a new challenge. You can also join us in our community chat over on Discord. You can talk about XD, talk about design, talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Animal Crossing, for all I care. I would like to talk about Animal Crossing on Discord, by the way. But more importantly, you can also post your work that you're doing for the Daily Creative Challenge. So here is a bunch of your work in the current challenge channel, and Gibby just posted this not too long ago. And one thing I want to point out is that even though this particular challenge is focused on finance, at least that's what I'm designing and showing off on these streams, if you feel comfortable or if you have a personal project in mind, definitely go crazy with it. You know, Gibby posted this all about art and student gallery at the bottom and courses and things like that. And he or she kind of took what I've been showing off and molded it to kind of fit what they want. So, you know, definitely have fun with it, get creative. And even if you are following the finance theme that I'm going through this week and next week, you can always go back and replace that content with whatever it is that you are looking for. So there's some great content in there. We have some fantastic mentors and moderators who are giving feedback all day, every day. Elizabeth says we need an Animal Crossing channel in the Discord. You know what? I agree. I'm going to petition that. Gus, if you're watching, I'm going to petition Animal Crossing. I don't think that'll go. But as you can see, I'm in the Nookazon Discord channel as well. Anyways, back to this. You can watch us live. We're pretty much live all day, every day, Monday to Friday, and some of us are even live on the weekends. And you can share your work in Discord or on Behance using the keyword XD Daily Challenge. So to recap, we started off the week building out the landing page, at least the above the fold section of our landing page. We were talking about assets, colors, and character styles. And then we went on to live support. We built out a chat widget. I'm going to show you this in a moment. Yesterday, we tackled the feature overview and we really focused on stacks. And Joe, who is, I think, jumping ahead, he says, I appreciate that we have anchor links. Yes, I agree too. But he also says, when are we going to be able to link sections in other artboards? I don't know. That would be great. Definitely go to user voice and upvote that. I know that's something that the team is exploring. Don't know where that is on the roadmap, but I would love to see that as well. But speaking of anchor links, we're going to be talking about anchor links in today's challenge. We're going to be designing the sign in and sign up experience at the bottom of our landing page, and we're going to be using anchor links. All right, here we go. Let's hop over to XD. And here's where we are so far. So one more time, let's recap. Here's the landing page that we started with on Tuesday. That's the date we started it. We have a great illustration over to the right. We've got some header text. We've got buttons, which were made with components. We've got our main component here. We have a state, an outline state. We also, if you preview this, we have a hover state as well. And then we built out this chat widget over here to the right. And that was set up with components and states and a tap trigger, so you can open it, you can close it. It's also fixed into place, so when scrolling begins, it doesn't go anywhere. And then yesterday we built out these feature sections using stacks and stacks within stacks, so you can very easily, as you can see here, I can dive in here, grab this group and just move it over there, right? I can also grab entire sections and and just move things around if I wanted to. Really fancy. All right, today we're going to be building out a sign in and sign up experience at the bottom of the page. Now, of course, depending on the website or service that you're building, it may make sense to build that sign up experience at the top of the page. But you know what? We're going to go with the bottom. And if you don't feel comfortable with a sign up or sign in experience, or it doesn't make sense for your particular project, you can always put something else down here. Maybe I don't know, who knows what it is, right? So I'm going to just drag my artboard down a little bit to make some extra room. And right down here is where that experience is going to go. So there's going to be two sections we're going to be working with. I'm going to grab my rectangle and draw out essentially two squares. So one just like that. Is the background frozen for anyone else? Oh no. Oh, it is. Hold on. That's odd. Let's go back to my face for a second. Let's see if I can switch back over. Hold on. I will fix this. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let's see, screen capture. What is going on? Doop, boop. That's interesting. Why is that not? What is happening? Hold on. Give me a second. I will try to fix this. This is the joys of live streaming. I can't see what, I can't see either what I'm doing. That is interesting. There's me, and there's my screen, but there's nothing on my screen. Interesting. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. Let me try to actually switch the scaling of my monitor and see if that fixes anything. It may not. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Nope, that didn't seem to fix anything. Okay. Let me add in a new screen capture. This is fun, isn't it? Let me add in a new screen capture here. And aha, look at that. There we go. Okay, I have no idea why the other one stopped working, but I think we're good. I think we might be good. It might take about 10 seconds for all of you to see the update, but it looks like we are good to go. I apologize for that. My streaming application just had a fit. But anyways, I think we're back. I think we're good. Looks like we're good on my end. So here we go. So we're gonna be, we have this box down here that I created with the rectangle tool. And this area over here to the left is going to be some sort of an image. Okay, it looks like we're good. All right, I apologize for that. Don't know what happened, but I basically turned it off and turned it back on again, and we're fine. All right, so this is gonna be an image, and over here to the right is gonna be the area for the actual sign in or sign up experience. And if I go to my assets, you know, we've got this purple that we've been using. So I might wanna pull that in for the background of this experience. And inside of here, we want a few elements, right? We want maybe some text so people know what's going on. For example, sign in. And we're gonna change this color to white so it's nice and legible. There we go. And this one's gonna be nice and bold because this is gonna be the active section. Best solution for everything. I agree. Just turn it off and turn it back on and see what happens. And this is gonna be sign up. Maybe I just want a sentence case for this. And this one's gonna be not so bold, maybe medium. And maybe I'll drop the opacity a little bit because this is gonna be the inactive area. Well done, it's cut off on the right. Oh my gosh, it is cut off on the right, isn't it? You know, this, things are just not working today, are they? Maybe let me try scaling one more time. That might work. Okay, one more thing, here we go. Let's see if that fixes the problem. Ooh, I think that fixed the problem. Ha. Okay, I think we're good now. All right, so we've got our sign in and sign up, and really to make the distinction even more, I'm gonna grab my line tool and just add a little bit of a line right under here. Make it a little bit thicker. There we go. So we've got sign in. Now it's really clear that sign in is the active section right here. And I'm just gonna make sure to select all this and make sure to center it. There we go, fixed it, yes. All right, so we're gonna focus on the sign-in experience, at least for now, and then if we have time after all those technical difficulties, hopefully that was the last of it, we are going to work on the sign-up experience. So I'm gonna grab a rectangle and draw one out right across here. Everything's lining up beautifully. And I may wanna round out the corners a little bit. Let's see what 16 pixels looks like. Possibly, maybe 8. Maybe 8. 8 might be a little bit better. You don't want to go too round on your form fields because it looks a little bit weird. Some people might think it's a button. So this could be for the email, and the next one will be for password. Now what we're going to want to do is really make sure to focus on using components and states. So for this one, I'm going to hop into my plugins. I'm going to go to my icons for design plugin. What a crazy stream. I agree. You know, things always happen in these streams that you just can't control. I've been streaming this using the exact same document for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks after I upgraded and never had an issue like that. And you know what? Things happen. All right, so there's an email envelope. Looks pretty good. And over to the right, we're gonna just put in email address. Now, of course, that typed in white, so I can't see much. There we go. We're gonna really drop this down a little bit. Let's say 18. And medium might work. Let's see what this looks like. So, you know, I stressed this in my last stream, and I also stressed it in previous streams as well. When you're designing so far zoomed in, like I am right now, you lose perspective of what everything actually looks like and how big things are or how small things are. So right here, things look great because I'm only focused on this little area, but I would really recommend as much as possible to just press that desktop preview button at the top and just scroll down and see what it looks like. And honestly, it looks okay. It's not perfect, but it looks okay. I think we're gonna run with that. And because we're gonna be using components and states, we can very easily make changes. Is anyone wearing XD socks? I'm not today. I think they're not clean. So yeah. All right, so we've got this form field looking pretty good, and I wanna make sure to turn this into a component. So I'm gonna right click and make component. You can also do that within the properties inspector or your assets panel, and you're gonna notice it popped it right here. I'm just gonna name this field. Now I can just drag out another one. And this one I can override completely. So if I wanna go to my plugins one more time, I'm gonna first start by just typing in password. And then I might want, let's say, a lock icon, for example. So I've got some nice lock icons here. Maybe this one will look pretty good. I'm gonna make sure it's about the same size. Now, of course, because of the nature of this icon, it's probably isn't gonna match completely, which is fine. And there we go. Now the big question is, do you left align it? Do you right align it? I'm gonna leave it at that. Of course, you can all use your creativity to make things look even better. I think that could work. All right, so we've got our 2 form fields looking pretty good. And now we wanna make sure that we have some buttons down at the bottom. Now, there's many ways to sign into an experience like this. Of course, you can have different buttons to sign in with your email address and password, maybe some social buttons so you can sign in with Twitter or Facebook or Apple login or whatever it might be. Now, we do have buttons already, right? So we have a button that we created a little bit earlier that's at the top of our landing page. So I can drag one of those out. And because they work great with responsive resize, padding is on. In this case, I want to turn padding off. So I'm going to turn, now this one, because it is controlled by the main component, we actually don't want to use that. I lied. So I'm going to create a new button just like this, because I don't want to necessarily turn off padding of the main component and those states. So I'm going to create a new button. This one's going to be rounded completely. So there's a little bit of a distinction between the button here and the form fields, right? Again, you don't want necessarily for them to look exactly the same, right? So these ones are a little bit rounded, which is okay, and the button is very rounded. And I'll just go sign in like that. I'm gonna make sure this is nice and bold so people know it's a call to action, make it a little bit larger. There we go. All right. So there's our button looking pretty good. I'm gonna make sure to group these, call this button. Perfect. And now maybe we also want some additional buttons down here that can act as our maybe sign in with Twitter or sign in with Facebook, whatever it might be. So these ones will be secondary buttons. So I'm gonna make sure they're about halfway, a little bit long, a little bit shorter. And I might wanna go for outline for these ones. So let me just do on one of them. I'm gonna turn off that and maybe turn on a border. And maybe since these are secondary, I can also drop the opacity just a little bit. And this, I'm going to keep this empty for now because I don't want to find the Twitter icon and the Facebook icon, all those. I'm just going to use these as placeholders and then I can fill them in later. All right, so that's looking pretty good. I want to make sure that the spacing is okay down here. Right, there we go. And you can also have a place if you maybe forgot your password, for example. So maybe just a text layer, forgot password, and a question mark. Make that nice and small, probably drop the weight a little bit, and position it in the center. There we go. All right, so we have our first experience created, right? Login is not a word, log in. Yes, I think so, possibly. So we have sign in, we have sign up. Everything's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and preview this. Scroll down. Now you're noticing that chat widget is kind of peeking below there. So all we have to do for that is find that chat widget and just move it to the top. That way we can scroll down. It'll always stay there if we need it. So now what we can do, we can actually select this entire thing and we can have two different states, part of a larger component. So if we go ahead and select all of this, maybe minus the background, I can press the plus button and then create one more state, and this will be called sign up. And for this one, now that it's created and active, I can just move this guy over to the right. I'm going to make sure that this is set to bold, 100% opacity, and this is going to drop down, I think it was 60%, and then medium. Now for here, there might be some additional information that we need to change, right? So the sign in button is going to be sign up. These ones might still stay there, but we may also want some additional form fields, right? So maybe email address, password, possibly our name, for example. Name, and for here, we may want to change this icon to maybe a user icon. What's the shortcut to move layer to the top? So it is Command Shift and then the right square bracket key. That should do it. All right, make this a little bit smaller. And of course you can get super granular with this. You can have first name, last name, a lot of different things you can do, but I'm gonna keep things fairly simple today. And I'm gonna make sure all of this lines up really nicely. There we go. All right. Perfect. So we have our various states. We have our default state and our sign up state. And of course, like we learned yesterday, we can also use stacks. So if we wanted to go ahead and group these three form fields, Command and Control G, and I'll just call this fields, I can go ahead and enable a stack within the properties inspector. That way, if I decide that maybe the name should be on the top, I can just very easily do that. And of course, this probably wouldn't ever happen, but if you wanted to make the name feel a little bit longer, you can just stretch this down and all the other ones below it nicely reorganize, right? We're gonna leave it just at that, all right? So we have our default state, we have our sign up state, and now what we wanna do, we wanna prototype them so that when someone clicks on sign up or sign in, it kind of switches back and forth. So in prototype mode, I'll simply click on sign up, click on the blue handle over to the right, and I'm gonna choose my sign up state. Now we could go ahead and choose auto animate, which will essentially move that line over, but the other objects won't really do much except kind of move around, so we may not need it, right? Probably don't need it. So we're gonna just go for a simple transition with no animation. And then from the sign up state, we can go back to sign in. Go to default state, all the other properties remained the same. All right, so we can preview, scroll down, boop, 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 right? And of course you can add some hover effects to the sign up button, a lot of different things you can do as well. So the big thing that we want to focus on now that we've designed this, and we can also go through and actually put in, let's say, we can put in an image in here. Maybe this image looks pretty good. Now we are using it up there, so maybe you want to go for something like this, or this little piggy is kind of cute. We can even flip this around so the piggy's looking the other way. There we go. Fancy. So the big thing we want to do is be able to link from the top of the page all the way down to the sign up experience at the bottom. So what we have up here, we have these placeholder links, and maybe one of them will say sign in or sign up, or even one of these down here might say sign in or sign up. So what we can do is I can just dive in here, sign up, for example, right? So I've changed one of those buttons, and this one could be something completely different. The UX of this particular experience probably makes zero sense as I've been changing it throughout the week. But we're going to run with it. Aaron says, we'll be going more into auto animate next week. Yes, I believe so, but you can definitely throw your questions in here, and I may not have time today, but definitely next week we'll be talking a little bit more about auto animate. So bring your questions. You can also tweet at me. I do check that from time to time. So we have this button here that now says sign up, and we want this to go all the way down to the bottom of our landing page. So back in prototype mode, what we're going to do, we want to make sure that button is selected. Now, previously, you can click on the handle to activate a state, or you can drag the handle to another artboard to transition over there. However, for this one, we actually want to grab that handle and go down to the bottom here. And you're going to notice, if you look very carefully, the area that I have highlighted, I can also do this one here, is highlighted in blue. And that lets me know that that's going to be the target for this anchor link. And I can just drop it right here. Boop, there we go. And over here to the right, I've got all my properties. So I have a tap trigger, right? And then it's changed the type to scroll to. So when I click on that button, it's going to automatically scroll down. And I can choose my various, if I wanted to change the destination, I can do that right over here. And I can choose an offset if I wanted to. And you can notice there's a new little handle over here to the right, to the left. And if you wanted a little bit of breathing room, you can definitely adjust that as well. We might take a look at that and adjust accordingly. And we have some easing options. So maybe I'll just do ease in and out, and we'll do, let's say, 1 second. So it's a nice slow scroll. All right, here we go. So of course, when we launch this, you can manually scroll down all the way down to the bottom. Rectangle 1835. Yeah, I'm not very good with my naming conventions during these streams. But you can also click on the sign up button, and it takes you straight down to the bottom. And then you can go through the sign up experience, right? Now you can also create some sort of a back to top icon. So if I go down to the bottom, right here, maybe I want to just hide one right about there. So if I go back to my plugins, of course I can make an arrow myself, but I'm lazy and it's the end of the week. So I might want to just, let's see. Maybe this one. Whoa, why'd you go up there? Let's go all the way down back to the bottom. I'm just gonna paste it right about here. This will just be at a back to top icon. There we go. Pop it right about there. And now we can do the exact same thing we did before. So in prototype mode, I can grab this handle, scroll all the way back up to the top. I'll just land it on this big block up here. And I'm gonna make sure that my properties are set. So I've got scroll to, no offset because it's gonna land flush with the top, ease in and out, and 1 second. Here we go. Boop. Got our sign up experience. Sign in, sign up, and then back to top. Fancy. Anchor links. Yeah, I agree, Richard. All right, so that is just about going to wrap it up for week number 1. Let's recap a little bit. So on Monday, we started with just the landing page above the fold. We focused on blocking things out. We didn't really focus on too much on the content because I'm leaving that up to you. I want you all to get very creative with how you build this out. We've got our header that we added over to the assets panel. We've got some buttons with hover effects. We've got a state outline button, got a fun little illustration. And then we moved on to that chat experience over here to the right. We used stacks, we used padding, we used components and states, and we fixed it into place yesterday. And then we have all these features sections. Now, this is a button that I grabbed from the previous one, so I probably wouldn't want a hover effect in that case, at least not that hover effect. But you can just shift these around if you wanted to using states, right? Sarah says, I feel like the back to top buttons are usually on the right side. Does it matter? You're probably right. I do notice it more on the right side. The only reason I put it on the left side is because I have the chat widget on the right, there would be too much going on over there, but you're absolutely right. I usually do see it on the right-hand side. And then today, we dove into the sign-in and sign-up experience using stacks and components, A lot of different fun things. And then of course, we have our anchor links. There we go. Fun times, right? So that's going to wrap it up for week number 1 of this round of the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. Next week, we're going to continue the finance theme, but we're going to be diving into the mobile experience. We're going to be talking more about stacks and padding, auto-animate, a lot of fun stuff. So hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Is there anything coming up after me? There probably is. Let's check the schedule very quickly. Maybe not. I could be the last one for today. So that's going to wrap it up for me and for the week. Big thank you to everyone who has joined me, Farshad and Sarah and Abdullah and Etsy and Ariana and Richard and Sam and Joanne.